What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our DFS picks and sleeper show for the 2021 Canary Islands Championship. Craig, it's our third stop on the Canary Islands. Last week we were at the Tenerife Open. Our picks, a couple weeks ago we had Higgo and we had Winther. Best pick, best sleeper. Not so much this week. We kind of dropped the ball a bit. Antoine Rosner had one of the weirdest blowups I saw on like his third or fourth hole of the tournament.
Yeah, that was
what
unexpected.
Do you think of our... Definitely unexpected. Sleepers made the cut for the most part, so that was nice to see, but we need to get those high finishes.
Yeah, I think Jamie Donaldson might actually have been the cheapest of all of our picks. So I think, we'll get into the course here as well. But the one thing I do think about resort courses and courses that play easier is that they do open the door. Like, it's so much easier for any golfer to contend. It flattens out the field, I would say.
Yeah, just like the harder courses on the PGA Tour bring the cream rises to the top.
They differentiate better between the best players and the next levels.
For sure. So like last week, as Craig kind of teased, we are at the same course, Golf Costa Adeje, Spain, past Palm fairways, Tiff Eagle greens, volcanic dust, exact same course that we saw on TV this past week. A bunch of par threes, 5 par fives, low scoring, minus 25 won it this past week, minus 20 was runner up. So I expect kind of similar. We'll take a look at the weather here, but as you said, it's a resort course, tons and tons of scoring.
Yeah, I mean, Tiff Eagle greens, that's a type of Bermuda. The other thing that stood out to me a little bit was there seemed to be a bit of a skew towards, the Spanish players are all doing well. We've seen South Africans playing well. I think we're seeing, there are players who didn't necessarily grow up playing Bermuda that can play well there, but you do see that everyone who has played those their whole lives just seems to get a little bit of a bump.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what's going on in the weather in Adeje on the Canary Islands? So the wind finder station is below there if you want to get a little bit more specific on the wind, but it does look like, Craig, I changed it over to Celsius and kilometers per hour this week. I got it figured out. Low 20s temperature, and then wind looks to be up there a little bit, around 20 kilometers a day. Each day.
Yeah, it could be significant, more so on the weekend it looks like, so less chance that will affect the cut and potentially favor one wave over the other, but it does look like it may test them a little bit more on the weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so European Tour, same stop. We're not going to go our full picks and sleepers. We're going to give one pick each, one sleeper each. We don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Craig, should we jump into it?
Yep, let's do it. You're up.
Calum Hill. I am stealing your pick as my pick here, and I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a sleeper pick, to be perfectly honest. So he's 9,400 on DraftKings. He's that ranks 9th. He missed the cut last week, but looking at his ranks the past 6 months, this is on Data Golf that kind of blends all the tours around the world together. Over the past 6 months, he's first in the field in strokes gained. He is 6th in the field in strokes gained approach, a plus 1.7, and 7th in strokes gained putting, a plus 0.62. His 2020 results, the last 7 events, so he did have that miscut last week, but he's also popped 3 times for 3 top 10s. So 3 out of 7 times he's in the top 10. And with a weaker field like this, even with guys like Rosner's not showing up, there's a few guys that have kind of dropped out for this last installment. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's very up there with the class of the field. So what has he done, coming off a miscut? How does he bounce back? I was looking at his most recent results. This year, he was T8 at the Kenya Open following miscut. And last year, the year before that, he's T13 at the Alfred Dunhill coming off a miscut. So he has followed up miscuts with good performances. I like 9th just seems too low at 9,400. So he could be a second guy in. You can start your lineups here. I just like Calum Hill.
Yeah, we did see a big reaction in terms of pricing to what people did last week. So someone like Calum Hill, who didn't have a great week, obviously gets, they don't get the bump in pricing they maybe should have. But I like the pick a lot. I would have picked him, I think, if you didn't already have him in here, and it would have been a repeat for me, which always makes it harder. But yeah, definitely like the pick.
Yeah.
I'm going right to the top for mine. Garrick Higgo, he's 11,000, top price on DraftKings. A guy you have been high on for some time now. But why am I doing it? A lot of it is about momentum, but I think a little bit of it is just about, where he's at. I think he's taking the next steps in his career. You look at the past 30 days, he's really standing out in terms of strokes gained total. He's first and by a fairly healthy margin. 3 months, he's still third. And then you look at 6 months and 12 months. He does actually dip there at the 6 months range, but then he's still 12 months of play. He's 10th in this field in terms of strokes gained total. Last 7 starts, He has a single miscut, 6 top 20s, 3 top 10s, and obviously the win, a couple of weeks ago at the Gran Canaria. Not the same course. That was the one that was on the other island. The one concern I maybe have is his recent form. Is it too reliant on the putter? So right now he is, for the 2021 season, he is averaging 1.2 strokes gained putting. This is European Tour stats. That's not, obviously that's great, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
So you look at what he has done ball striking. He was a really good ball striker. He's one of the best ball strikers last season. So he gained a stroke and a half ball striking, strokes gain off the tee and approach. That's combining.
Right.
But so far in 2021, he's gaining 0.34 combined off the tee and approach. So I think he has that game. I think it just, we haven't necessarily seen it. I also don't know with how much the European Tour has been traveling. I don't know how accurately it's all being tracked. I don't know if they have, full ShotLink data or how these numbers are being generated.
Yeah, I think that's a good asterisk to put on it because ShotLink data, especially on new courses, new destinations, will be less reliable for sure. Higgo's an interesting one this week. It's going to be a guy that I overplay for the next decade, I'm sure, whatever tour he's on, whatever events he's in. But it might be a pump the brakes now because he did get that price bump up to first. And I don't think his ownership will be that low. Like, I think people are just like, yeah, it's a slam dunk Higgo. And it kind of is, but that's why I like to be different. So it might be.
And I think you can also, like I was saying, you can make a good argument that you don't need to pay up. It's a resort course. It really flattens out scoring. But he's just been so good. His recent form, he's just playing so well that I'm going to ride the wave.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, that's our one pick.
And I guess I should just mention he was tied for 8th at the same course.
I knew I had a good
past
finish,
week.
but yeah, it was a good finish again. Okay, my sleeper this week. I am kind of doubling. I'm going back. I'm going back to Maverick Antcliff, 7,500. Sorry, that's a mistake. He's 7,500 on DraftKings. He's 35th. But he's coming off 4 straight made cuts on the European Tour, including T42 last week. What did he do last week? So looking at his scorecard, it's a little bit like 4 days of cycle scorecard. 1 eagle, 21 birdies, 11 bogeys, and 1 double.
A lot of shapes on that scorecard.
Yeah, a lot of those bogeys were on par 5. So it didn't really make sense. He kind of played well, but he shot himself in the foot way too much. So the birdies and eagle, like that's good, but we gotta limit the number of bogeys here, Maverick, and that's how we're gonna win. But looking at the field again from Data Golf over the past 6 months, he ranks 3rd in the field in strokes gained approach. Arguably one of the most important stats week in, week out, whatever course you're going to, whatever event you're playing, strokes gained approach usually has a pretty strong correlation with kind of finishing. He ranks 3rd and he's 35th priced on. A little bit about his history. 2019 season, China Golf Tour. I talked about this last week. 3 wins, 7 top 5. So he knows how to finish when he's in that position. He knows how to win. I love to see that when people are coming off different tours. And with all that said, he only has a $200 increase since last week. So that 7,300 was last week. He has bumped up to 7,500 this week. I'm absolutely going right back. No reason kind of not to.
Yep. I like it. I think he's you have to find value here if you want to make the high plays, and I think he's a good one to find it with. That's also why I'm looking at Pedro Oriol, a Spaniard. He's 7,200. He's 46 on DraftKings. You look at his numbers recently. This is essentially why I like him. I think he's coming in with a lot of momentum. It's minus 0.33 strokes gained in the last 30 days and the last 3 months. So it's ranked 12th in the field. And then even his long-term form, last 12 months, he's minus 1.31. And, I should say that is based on the average PGA Tour player. So essentially add a full stroke to these numbers is approximately what you're looking at. Now he's a guy that has gone between the Challenge Tour and the European Tour over the past 12 months. He since the COVID break, he has a single missed cut. That was at the Gran Canaria a couple of weeks ago, and he missed it on the number. So other than that, he has 12. He would, if it wasn't for that, he'd have 12 straight made cuts. 6th last week at this course. I think he has a good feel for it. He's also in good form because he was 33rd at the Australian Open before coming out to the Canary Islands. So I think he's got a good feel for these courses. Obviously miscut, but on the number, and then 6th this past week. The one thing I liked about him, I was looking through people who played well and have played well in the last little bit. He has not done it. A lot of the guys have done it with their putter, similar to Higgo. He did not so much. You look at what he's done through 10 rounds, which really are the Austrian Open, this past week, the Tenerife and the Gran Canaria. He's gaining over a stroke and a half with his ball striking. So that's the kind of, I think that's much more, that carries over more week to week. So I like him. I like him as a good cut maker. You're looking for a cut maker at 7,200. Yeah. I like him as a good cut maker with, obviously he showed top 10 potential last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. A guy I don't know much about. I love having kind of first timers on our shows. Get to talk about it for the first time. The Tour caddies, we mentioned them last week. They're an interesting follow on Twitter. They're kind of some of the caddies on the European Tour, boots on the ground at the events. They actually last week said the Austrian Open was a good course comp to the Adeje event. So clearly that worked out, 33rd and a 6th. So that is nice to see. Yeah, a guy I don't have much about, but you kind of made a convincing argument. So I like it.
Plug him in.
Plug him in. I like it. Thank you everybody for watching. That was kind of a condensed Euro show this week. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit that thumbs up. Craig, anything else to add here before we sign off?
Yeah, give us a pick. Give us a sleeper. Let us know who you like.
I like it. Good luck this week, everyone.
Good luck, guys.